Good morning. Thank you, Sanjay, for inviting me here. It's a privilege to be on this side of the table. And not too long ago, I was sitting on that side, over 10 years ago, and I was listening to business leaders speak about their journey. At that time, I never thought that I would be on this side and sharing my journey with the budding entrepreneurs. That was about 10 years ago. And I'm confident that down the road, most of you, if not all, will be on this side as well. So I'll share today how I have traveled last 35 years since I started onto this journey of business. I worked for my father before I started. While I was going to college, I worked for him. He was a photographer. And I was kind of getting ambitious into changing his business. And he said, Sunil, this is my business. Let me run the way I like it. So I looked around and I found that in Jaipur, there was a lot of business of handicraft export. So I started inquiring about that from the consulates, from yellow pages of different countries. At that time, there was no website. So there was only way to go to consulate and look for from their own directories, yellow pages. And I did that. And I made a family friend whom my father introduced. He was in Gemstone. So he offered to me, if you have any questions, come to me. So next day I went to him with a long list of questions. And somehow he felt some affinity for me. And he invited me to come to his office and apprentice with him for Gemstone business. And while I was in the college, I was doing BCom at that time. I was in the morning college. While I was in the college, that was my final year of college. So in the morning, I used to go to the college, and in the afternoon, I used to go to his shop. Shop also a small manufacturing unit. He is a well-established person in Jaipur. And he was kind enough to train me personally. There was about 6 months I trained with him. And after I trained for about 6 months, I started my own trading of gemstones. So you'll see in 1980, that's when I started my trading business. So what I did was, I did not have any capital. I borrowed some money from my parents, about $2,000. And I took a lot of goods on memo or consignment from friends I had made while training. And they kindly gave me those goods, trusting me that I'll give the money back or the goods back to them if I did not sell them. And I went to Hong Kong. And in Hong Kong, just in the morning, I called the yellow pages, all jewelry manufacturers or jewelry gemstone dealers or gemstone dealers. I would call in the morning, and in the day, I would pound the pavement. There was about a month I stayed there, and I sold everything I did. So that time was the start of my career and start of the way that would teach me in years to come what it requires. And that is one of the lessons I'll share with you in the end, what I learned from that. It was the first experience I had. And the biggest experience I had that time was to be able to listen to people say no. Because if I would call 100 people, I would get 2 appointments. And from those 2 appointments, probably one would show some interest into looking at the product and buying. Because people going from India and selling gemstones was rather new at that time. Because Hong Kong itself was a manufacturing hub in 1980. China was not so much of a hub at that time, but Hong Kong was. So to be able to gain trust in them to sell those stones was something new. And it took some time. So that was a journey in 1980.